Yo, guys, what's going on? Trader Main here with my buddy, Trader Mercury. Apparently, my voice twin is what we've been told. Apparently, we sound very similar. We'll let you guys be the judge because now we are side by side. So, why don't you give everyone a quick intro, kind of who you are, what you do? We'll go from there.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? I'm a trader slash content creator slash shit poster on on Twitter and YouTube and etc. Yeah, I've been trading crypto since November 2020. Man, words are hard. November of 2017, and then yeah, just been kind of sticking with it since 7 years now, strong. I only trade trends. I'm bullish at every single top and bearish at every single bottom, and making money in between. So yeah. But all my comments have you sound just like Trader Main. Are you Trader Main's little brother? Every single one of my comment or videos.
What do we think, guys? Do we sound the same? Do we sound similar? I don't hear it, but again, like how you sound in your own head is not apparently what you sound like, you know?
Yeah, I don't hear it either. But
All right, cool. So we've got all right, we got some decent viewership. So guys, we're kind of gonna we don't really have a plan for this. This is kind of impromptu. We're just going to kind of fucking wing it here. So we can start with, maybe looking at Bitcoin and some of the majors. And then obviously we can get into probably the memes and the shitters, because I think that is, what everyone. See, now they're just fucking roasted me. Like, his voice is deeper. Your voice is too nasally. His voice is sexy. What the fuck, guys? Um, but then we can probably get into some of the memes. I know a lot of these guys are trying to turn a little into a lot, and it's hard to do that when one Bitcoin is $60,000. So, give us your thoughts, man. Like, where do you think we are? And we can share your screen if it will help you illustrate, kind of your thought process, or you can just look at my screen here. Like, where do you think we are in the cycle? I mean, we're obviously close to all-time high. Is this like, are we still early days for you? Do you think we're, mid-cycle? What do you think?
well, I did share my stream.
Pop
But
this out here.
I think actually I was watching a video that you put out the other day, and I think that you said it best. When we crack all-time highs, we're typically closer to the end than we are at the beginning. And if you say like, "Oh, euphoric bull market," like, "Oh, we're entering the bull market, we're entering the bull market." Of course, if you take the semantics out of it, I know what you're saying if somebody says that to me. Like, we're entering the period where, celebrities are going to start tweeting like shitty scam coins and like Justin Bieber's going to flex his board ape again and like all that kind of stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
understand that that's what you mean, but you always get that reply guy that's like, "We've already been in a bull market for a year." And it's like, okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. We have been a bull market. This is, it has been a very luxurious kind of like abundance of opportunity available to us. But we're entering that last 20% of the cycle where 80% of your gains are going to be made. It's the 80-20 rule in marketing. So, 20% of your profit will come from, I'm sorry, 80% of your profit will come from 20% of your consumers and vice versa. So it's the same kind of gist here to me. It's like we're finally on that like blast off period, all time highs. Probably not going to be too much longer in terms of time. Now there are some, theories like, hey, this is more like 2014 and 2017 cycle, and we're just gonna, super cycle theory essentially. And that's cool and all, that's fine and dandy, but I'm not the person who's just now starting to recognize that this market is bullish. I'm making the same arguments that I've been making because, as far as I'm concerned, every single time frame has been uptrending, and I'm a trend trader. And the way that I think about it is, I take on the philosophy of a 4-year-old, and it's like, if a 4-year-old can look at a chart and tell me that that chart is headed to the top right corner, then that is my analysis. So that has been my analysis since like what, January 2023 or something. Nothing changed too much, in terms of context. We've had some like high time frame trend breakdowns, some lower time frame trend shifts. We ranged for 7 months there, but I'm going to give you the same arguments that I've been giving you for the majority of the past year, anyways. It's just that this is where those arguments get exacerbated in terms of like actual reward.
I agree. The Pareto principle, right? So I think when you tell people that you think it's closer to being over than it is to being the beginning, their instant reaction is anger because they're like, I haven't fucking made enough money, right? But you have to exactly reframe that, like you said. Um, it's not about the fact that time wise and where the mania and the real money can be made are kind of inverse here. The mania happens after all time high. We haven't broken all time high yet. So like whenever I say like guys, I think we might be closer to the end than the beginning, I'm more so disagreeing with the people who are like, dude, the next 2 years are going to be crazy. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's that long, but like generally after we break all time high, it's more like 6 to 12, maybe on the long end, 18 months till we form the next all time high. So that's, late 2024, maybe early 2025. But I've got people calling for, all time high in like Q3 of 2025. I don't know. I also think like making these types of predictions, like time-based predictions, are just kind of silly. Like, it's more so like, hey, where are we? We're close to all-time high. What does that mean? It means things are likely going to be very crazy for the next little while. And now is absolutely the time where you need to lock in. If you're worried about missing out, I don't think we're at that stage yet. I don't think you're buying the top up here. But I also don't think but you're very clearly not buying the bottom, right? Like we're up from 15K to 60K. So you can't it's very quantifiable. We're a lot higher from the bottom. It's been over a year plus since we've bottomed. So I wouldn't say you're early, but I wouldn't say you're late. You know what I mean? I feel like we're kind of middle of the game now, but I agree. Like the last the second half of this game is what really matters. And it's going to be exciting. Like I think anyone who has a kind of like mindset of like, oh man, I missed out. Look how high and expensive prices are and how high things are. It's the wrong attitude. I think the attitude is very simple. It's like, okay, we're about to break all time high. Things are about to get crazy. It's now time to lock in. I think there's to me personally, I think we're setting up for potentially a fantastic alt season. Whether that comes from a dump on Bitcoin or another rally kind of blow off and then a dump, I think we're going to see kind of that turbo reversion on alt BTC pairs where BTC either moons and then dumps or it just crashes. And then we see these kind of alt BTC pairs put in the bottom because so many of them are very, very, very bottomed out versus BTC on the high time frame chart. So I think it's an exciting time to be in the market. And I absolutely think it's time to not just pay attention, but to start taking shots. Like if you've been conservative over the last year plus, or you still kind of have that bear market brain where you're, not willing to hold swings and stuff like that, like you're TPing stuff like relatively quickly. I think you've got to tweak that thinking now. Like this is like the live game. Like now it's time to get up there and take fucking shots, take swings, because there's going to be tons of opportunities. I mean, the hot ball of money is moving around at hyper speed right now. Look at today, multiple coins up 30, 40, 50%. There's going to be many more days like this. So it's time to pay attention, and it's time to, like I said, it's time to take shots. Like get in the arena, whatever you want to call it. But this is what you've been waiting for. If you suffered through the downtrend, if you suffered through the lack of volatility, what's coming up right now and what we're entering into is what people talked about so fondly from previous cycles.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. And it's a really interesting topic, but I kind of reiterate the same thoughts. I always tell people, like, I don't care if you're sidelined. I don't care if you're coping, missing out. You've been trying to revenge short the entire rally. You have to be a cheerleader for green candles. If we're getting green candles, I need you to cheer for us. I need you to understand that. And somebody actually told me this. If you're playing poker and somebody else wins a big pot, you're not mad that that's not you winning that pot. You're happy because that money is still flowing in the game, and you have that chance to get that money flowing to the rightful owner, which is you. So you got to be a green candle cheerleader. Every time we go up, that means that opportunities are being compounded onto in this industry. So everything is a rotationary kind of cycle. If you've been here for anything longer than a year, you know how this shit works. We go to Ethereum, that gets its own little rally. We go to mid caps, we go to degenerate on chain, meme coins, this, that, the other. If you want me to be honest, I'm going to make a bold prediction. A lot of the things that are going to rally the hardest in this next cycle probably don't even exist yet. So think of your Safe Moon, your Shiba, your Elon coins, whatever. That kind of stuff is going to have those crazy kind of euphoric rallies that you can't fathom, and you're probably going to find those on TikTok. They might not even exist yet. So opportunity is absolutely abundant, but I reiterate your thoughts on like there is going to be an alt season, and it's not just me saying this now here today. Now that we're approaching new all-time highs, that actually tends to be like the kind of indicator for retail interest starting to come in, and then retail starts to be appealed to those altcoins, and that kind of ends up being like a self-fulfilling kind of prophecy. I was saying the same thing, back here at these lows. I remember people asking me, not just this time, but the previous cycle too, and saying, Merc, do you think that there's ever going to be another altcoin season? And my answer was, does human greed still exist? And if yes, then yes. If greed still exists, then yes, there's going to be another alt season. Maybe it's not as big as the other one. Maybe it doesn't last as long. Maybe we don't see the rotations in the same form that we usually do, like Ethereum and then Ethereum beta and then mid caps and then meme coins. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I don't care. But there absolutely will be another alt season. It's going to happen. And I don't know if you're watching my screen, but
Yeah.
I put out a tweet earlier today. It was talking about how retail. I was using Doge as a kind of indication for kind of portraying retail interests after BTC has already approached all-time highs. I deleted all the charts, but we can do it really quickly. BTC currently sitting on all-time highs. The last time that it broke all-time highs would have been somewhere in November 2020. And then if we go back, this is Coinbase, but if we would have went back, I think the time before that would have been. Hold on, wait. Let's go to BLX really quick. So November 2020, currently, and then the time before that, we can say, we'll just call it March 2017. So then we go to Doge BTC. You can see that as we're creating that all-time high on Bitcoin, this is where Doge was. So March 2017, that's where BTC is putting in that all-time high. That's where Doge gets that crazy, 10x move. And then same thing back here, December or November 2020, same exact thing. Retail interest picks up. Look where we are today. If you go look at the Doge USDT chart, we're breaking out of a 2-year-long range on Dogecoin. That's happening within recent days/weeks, right? So it's like this shit is just now ramping up. Now, again, I would still be more adherent to the idea that we're closer to the end than we are the beginning, just from a rational and logical standpoint. But again, the entire premise as to why we're all here is because we know that this market has the ability to defy logic. So it doesn't make sense to sit here and argue logic and, oh, Dogecoin is up 50%. Oh, in the bear market, this was a top indicator. Okay, true, but those same things that were a top indicator in the bear market are now an indicator that this froth is about to get even frothier, and euphoria is starting to pick up. And your high school buddies that you really don't care about and you haven't talked to in 10 years are just now starting to catch interest in BTC, but you've been trying to shill it to them 10 years ago, and they didn't give a shit. That's all just now starting to come into fruition.
Yeah, I mean, Coinbase app isn't even in the top 10. Listen, Robinhood is adding a shit ton of altcoins to their platform. It's going to be easier than ever for people to buy into these coins. I saw an interesting argument where someone, which I disagree with, I'll start with that, but the premise was, we're bullish because of the ETFs, right? There's all these billions of dollars flowing into these ETFs. It's this infinite TWAP, but that's into Bitcoin and potentially into Ethereum. That money is not going to trickle down, kind of like what you alluded to, into altcoins, right? To me, that's fucking hilarious because it's like, it's not people who are buying Bitcoin through an ETF are not the people that are pumping these fucking dog coins. Look at WIF, for example. WIF is gone from nothing to what's the market cap at now? Is it $1 billion? I mean, it's trading over $1 or it's trading at $1. There is always going to be gamblers. People have something called unit bias, okay? They're going to look at crypto. They're going to say, holy shit, Bitcoin is going up. I remember, last time it was this much. Now it's this much. I want to get some exposure. They're going to go to the easiest and lowest barrier to entry application or process to buy. Coinbase app, Robinhood. Maybe it's something like, buying on chain, but that's a little bit more kind of matured. Some people will get there. But if you have an app like Robinhood and Coinbase offering these coins, when this person is scrolling through these list of assets, their mind is going to go, well, Dogecoin is 13 cents. If it goes to $1.30, I 10x my money, right? Like that's the mindset that retail and froth is going to come into this space with. And that's why you see a lot of craziness in these shit coins is they're cheap. It's easy for people to think, well, if this does a 10x, if this does a 100x, it's going to go up so much. I completely agree. I mean, I think Dogecoin could go back to $1. But the stuff that is going to go up 10,000% 2 weeks before the market as a whole crashes, that stuff probably doesn't even exist yet. So there's still so many opportunities to make money here, but this is absolutely a time to be a bull in a bull run. We're in a bull market. Be bullish. Look for things to long. Look for reasons for things to continue to go up. I like your analogy of being at the casino. It's us against the house, right? It's as much as there are PvP aspects to the market, of course. It's us against the house. It's the good guys versus the bad guys, right? We want the dealer to bust. We want prices to go higher because if you're in this space and you have exposure, prices going up is always a good thing. So I think it's really exciting. I think for many of you who this is your first time in this type of market, I mean, strap the fuck in. It's probably going to be the craziest thing you've ever experienced in your entire life. But use logic. It's okay to be an ape, but in my opinion, if I could go back to my first cycle, I would have just heavily allocated to kind of some major core positions and let those ride. And then I would have gambled. Back when I started, there wasn't even derivatives trading. You couldn't even use leverage, but I wouldn't have gambled with as much of my portfolio as I did. In previous cycles, I was trading and gambling and trying to, get huge multiples on my entire stack. Whereas now the majority of my stack is in spot, albeit from lower because I've, been here since the bottom and before. But the money that, people see me posting when I'm taking trades on Doge or I'm, longing some random altcoin or I'm fucking around on chain, that is a small portion of my stack that of course I want to run up into a big thing. But hopefully if you've been here through the bear market, a lot of the hard work is actually done already. Like, yeah, you're going to feel like there's stuff happening every single day and you're always missing out. But if you've well allocated to spot up to this point, a lot of what you're going to be doing for the next couple of months is just sitting back and over periods of days and weeks, waking up richer. Because prices as a whole are going to go up. Are there going to be ups and downs in between? Are there going to be pullbacks? Are there going to be new coins? Now there's Blast and there's going to be people aping on shit over there. You can get involved in all of that stuff as well. But if you've done the work in the bear market and you've been here for a while and you've got those spot stacks, fucking sit on those entries. There's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, to worry about selling your spot Bitcoin, selling your spot Ethereum, spot Solana until we've breached all-time highs and beyond, and we're not even there yet. So don't give up those good entries trying to chase that new shiny thing. Set aside a portion of your portfolio that is a little bit more degenerate. Maybe you're going to, try and trade shitters or you're going to use it leverage trading, but a lot of the hard work is done. If you've well allocated to spot. And I think it's just going to be a fun ride from here. Obviously, you can try and time those rotations and stuff like that. But I think one of the mistakes people make in a market like this is the market goes up and now they've convinced themselves that they know how to trade. And I'm not trying to shit on anyone, but most of you don't know how to trade. Most of you are right by function of everything going up. So don't go and think all of a sudden that you have gained this skill where you're going to perfectly time the rotation from BTC to Ethereum, from Ethereum to mid caps, from mid caps to low caps, and you're going to catch every single rotation. If you got a great entry on BTC, fucking sit in that fucker. Like, who cares if Ethereum outperforms for a little bit? The likelihood of you timing the market is pretty fucking slim. You're way better off with time in the market. And I think I think it's, again, all exciting. Hopefully everything continues to go up, and the party continues as long as, humanly possible. Yeah, are we about to make a new high here on a Friday afternoon?
Looks like it. Um, Man, retweet everything you just said. Retweet. Uh, there's a quote by Upton Sinclair that goes something along the lines of like, "Good luck trying to earn." How does it go? It's difficult to get a man to understand something if his salary depends upon his not understanding it. And when you really sit there and you hone in on that quote, it's like, damn, that was a bar. But basically, the point is, a lot of people are winning right now, but they're winning as losers, and they're winning with like bad practices and bad habits, and 3x leverage. Every time we get a Bitcoin dip, I'm just going to add more and 3x leverage and 3x leverage and 3x leverage. I had a buddy that did that and ran up 10K into 1.1 mil, and then eventually ended up drawing it back down to 300K and finally started to get some kind of sense to him. And the unfortunate reality is most people don't make it that far. Most people don't get to the point where they manage to lock in that 300K. They end up giving it all back and then some. And then mentally, what that did to them, that drawdown from, a million to 300K, you can't focus on the fact that you're up 30 times over what your net worth was a year ago. You're just focused on the fact that you've fumbled 700K. And this is exactly why people winning, but as losers, and consistently doing bad habits and bad practices that are inevitably going to get them wrecked. It's that living the life cycle of a turkey. Turkey lives a beautiful life, 1,000 days in the life of a turkey, and then eventually Thanksgiving hits 3 years later, and then turkey goes to zero. This is exactly why this candle is the biggest liquidation event, or if not one of the biggest liquidations events in crypto history. And it was forecasted by your boy, Trader Mercury, 70 IQ pleb that uses a stupid little green and blue line to tell me where the market's going. That is unbelievable to me, because this is the move leading up into this one, and this is the one where 10 to 20% of the open interest gets wiped out and people get liquidated. That is absurd. So that should never be the case, especially if you're sitting in spot positions. You're already you've been here, and you're feeling like you need to overcompensate for your own underperformance by leverage. Stay away from it. It's a forbidden fruit. Do not bite that fruit. You're going to get yourself wrecked. So the proper mindset to have in a market such as this one is an abundance mindset. Stop living in a mindset so much of like everything is scarce and I need more BTC and I need to do this and I have to make it in this cycle and I have to make it in the next month because people on Twitter are flexing their $8 million P&Ls in the past 3 days. Can't have that kind of a mindset. You have to have more of, this is abundant, opportunity is abundant, and I'm grateful. I was preaching the other day, you got to be a gratitude maximalist, man. The best way to fight off FOMO and greed is to just simply be grateful for what you already have. And suddenly you start to find yourself not so much unsatisfied, regardless of your mental state. I'm currently telling people, like, my biggest issue is that I'm not making as much money as I currently could be making. And even if I accomplish my dictation of generational wealth and I was able to retire my parents today, buy out a house and just say, screw your mortgage rates and retire myself, my biggest issue would still be that I'm not making as much money as I could be making. And so it's just that way of like shifting the mindset and turning everything to seem like a good thing. Every single thing that the market does is always an opportunity. Market number go higher, more people are interested in the market now. Number go sideways, maybe altcoins start to get some kind of relief. Market go down, now you have a dip opportunity to potentially buy as a higher low and look for a higher high, right? So it's that kind of like way of thinking that totally shifts how you're going about doing it. And another kind of just way to spin that around and make it seem like, you know, things are really abundant. You probably are. If you're watching this stream right now, you probably are early. You probably are a crypto native. You probably do have some kind of exposure. Think about this. Larry Fink is coming in to buy our bags. He's, CEO of BlackRock. He's going to start shilling Bitcoin. He is now like the biggest, figurehead for Bitcoin. And what's he going to do? He's going to start shilling, hey, allocate 2 to 3% of your portfolio, your investment portfolio, to Bitcoin. And when I'm talking to my friends and I'm in different Discord groups and Telegram groups, what people are telling me is I only have 20% Bitcoin exposure. I only have 35% Bitcoin exposure. Listen to me. This is the only industry of which you could dedicate 16 hours of your time scanning through different discords, trying to farm airdrops, 30% allocated, scrolling through crypto Twitter, all that kind of stuff, digging for alpha, putting in all the work, and still feel unsatisfied. It's the only place. We're only 30% exposed. We're only 20% exposed. Yeah, man. When you put it in a different kind of like perspective, you spin it around, everything is an opportunity. You got to be grateful for things. You lose touch with those bad practices and you set yourself up for inevitable success regardless of whatever happens in the market. And that's really the way to win. And this is peaceful mode. It's easy mode. It's Minecraft on peaceful. There are no monsters. There's nothing that can really hurt you. We're in about as bullish of an environment you could ever possibly be in. Bitcoin's about to break all-time highs, right? Trading just below it. The only way that you screw up is because of your own stupidity. You either fall off and die to fall damage, or you walk and step into lava. That's the only way that you die and you screw it all up, is due to your own stupidity. So you have those spot positions, you have those core positions. You just got to lose sense of like constantly yearning for more, be grateful for what you have, work with it, stop trying to force success in a certain amount of time period, stop comparing yourself to others, and just run with it. And you'll probably do incredibly well just by being a kind of subject to the market and exposed to the market in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, that was very, very eloquent. No, I agree. I mean, I have a lot of friends. Like, so my younger brother, for example, he texted me, I think when we broke like 25K and we were pumping quite hard. And he's like, listen, like, I want to buy some crypto, but I don't want to buy into a spike. Like, it's up. Like, I don't want to buy the top. And what do you think I should do? And I said, I've given you the same advice every time. I said, just get some exposure. You are not a trader. Stop trying to pretend like you're a trader. You have a job. You're doing your own thing. If you want to buy some crypto, just buy some. And months go by, and Bitcoin then crossed like 50K. And he sent me the exact same message. And I just like screenshotted it. I'm like, dude, if you would have bought when I first told you, you'd be up 2x already. So just by a habit of being here and being around, you're going to do well, and you're going to outperform kind of traditional markets and things like that. Listen, I echo everything you said. I am a huge believer in the law of attraction. I think one of the biggest issues people have in life is the way that they perceive things and the way that they frame things. Oh, I woke up today and Pepe was up 50%. I didn't long any. What the fuck? Or I was long Pepe and then I closed it and I could have made this much money. That is a losing mindset. If you go through every day thinking about all the stuff you missed and all the mistakes that you made, what do you think the rest of your life is going to be like? All you're going to do is notice inefficiencies, deficiencies, things you've missed out on, negative, 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 negative. It becomes this like self-fulfilling feedback loop of bullshit. It's much easier to go through life being positive and framing things exactly as you said. Price goes up, okay, I'm making more money because I own Bitcoin. Price goes sideways, okay, great, my altcoins are doing well. Price goes down, great, this is an opportunity to buy. Framing not just how you trade like that, but your life in general. It will yield massive results. I actually am in the process of recording a video on something exactly like this because I have a journal. Like I journal like a motherfucker, and I'm not talking like a trading journal. Like I write down things that I want, things that I plan on doing, that I have done. I practice being grateful for what I've done. I'm excited about what I'm going to accomplish. It's all in a journal, and everything I have in my life, net worth goals, follower count on Twitter, how much money I've made in a year, the people who are in my life and that I surround myself with, were all in my journal because I put it in there. And whether it's like some voodoo law of attraction bullshit where it's like, oh, the universe is fucking sending me the stuff that I'm putting back out. Maybe it's that. Maybe there's some science behind it. Maybe it's just how life works. When you think positively and you act positively, good things happen. Maybe it's as simple as just goal setting. But I 100% agree. I think it's so important for your trading. You have to frame everything as an opportunity because it is so easy in this space, and especially in the world in which we live today with social media, to always feel like you are not doing enough. You're not making enough money. You're not chatting, a pretty enough chick. You're not hanging out at the fucking sick ass beach or this fucking whatever. Like you wake up, you go on Instagram. That's the first thing you do in the day, and you're just following other people who seem to be doing doper shit than you. They got a nicer car than you. They got a nicer watch than you. Like, of course, you're going to have a shitty day if that's the first thing you do with your day. And crypto Twitter is no different. If you wake up and you made 5 grand because Pepe went up 50% and you're stoked, but then you open up Twitter and you're like, well, this guy made 10 grand and this guy made 100 grand. And oh, what the fuck? What am I doing wrong? I didn't do well enough. It's not the right way to go about it. It's not the right way to live. Everyone here is on their own journey. You're doing this at your own pace. And with the wrong type of mindset, that's when you make bad decisions. You feel like you're not doing enough, so you do something out of the norm, like over leveraging, getting into too big of a position, taking an ill-advised trade. Today is a perfect example. Like, I was long Pepe last night, like $1 million worth. And I was like, I really want to have a good night's sleep tonight. I haven't slept very much. I could have put a stop on. I was like, I don't know if I love the entry. So I just ended up closing it. Okay. I woke up this morning, it's up 50%. Of course, there's part of me that is like, calculating how much money I would have made, right? Like that's natural. That's human nature. But the old me, previous cycles me, the first thing I would have done is either longed it or long something else with like double the size to try and make up for missing out. And that's how you end up burning yourselves. Look at this current Bitcoin candle. There's a ton of people who are probably trying to ape into some BTC breakout on a Friday, going into a weekend after a bunch of shit absolutely ran because they missed it. You are your own worst enemy here. I think the Minecraft example is a perfect one. Like, the worst thing you can do right now is start trading with leverage as a means to try and make more money because you feel like you haven't made enough. There's going to be tons of money here, and just by being around and having exposure to the market, you're going to outperform the majority of people. You're going to see a ton of people post big P&Ls this entire bull run, and a ton of them are going to give it all back and more, and then they're going to owe taxes on all the money that they made and lost. So don't let that shit fucking discourage you. Frame things positively. Like, this is an exciting time. It's a good time to be involved, and just wait to take your shots, right? Like, if Bitcoin's going to go up again, great, right? What does that mean? Can we find a trade? Are altcoins going to drop? And now maybe I can buy the dip I've been waiting for on Solana or on Ethereum or whatever. I really like what you brought up there. And I don't think it's something that's spoken about enough because it's so easy to get caught up in the flex culture. I mean, I even did it today. I posted a P&L. I don't normally do that. But I had to remind people that I'm still in this and I'm still fucking degen trading. But it's very easy, especially if you're not feeling exposed enough or not feeling like you've made enough money to see other people doing it and then letting that be like a negative thing for you and be like, well, I got to do more. And then you get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Absolutely.
How many people do you know personally that did exactly what you said, where they did well in the bull market and then, reality kicks in, they got screwed, and then they owed a shit ton of taxes?
One. Do you not remember King Pepe? Or Pepe, like, is King Pepe Degen or something on Twitter? Like, this guy ran up, like, it was mid 8 figures leverage trading.
Oh, no.
And he round tripped all of it. Like, I don't even know if he's still on Twitter, but he was not that long ago. And he basically, like, wrote a thread and was like, I'm, like, dissing Pepe. Yeah, this guy right here. I'll share my screen. I'm not trying to dunk on this guy.
Yeah.
By
no
any
dunking.
means.
Just, you got to learn from other people's mistakes, right? You don't live
but this
a
guy,
long enough life.
Listen, his last post was November 11th, 2023. So, but this guy literally ran it up huge. I wonder if he has any screenshots, because it was like, this is a crazy story. Like, this guy was posting crazy P&Ls. Yeah, look, so tax office hassles me. I call them. They say, maybe you can do a payment plan. I owe $30 million and my bank account is negative.
Sheesh.
So this is a fucking lesson, guys, because if you run it up huge and give it back, guess what? The government doesn't care. They still want you to pay tax on as if you kept it all.
Yeah, not that extreme, but I know a couple people that have actually done exactly that, and they're totally boned.
Yeah, you'll be fucked. Like this guy is fucked forever. Like having a regular job, you'll never pay off $30 million in tax. So if he owed 30 mil, that means I think
He had
capital
to have
gain. I
locked
don't know where
in.
he lived, but I mean, or what is this? Australia, flag of Australia. So the tax rate's probably 50% there. Like so he probably made $60 million, and literally it's gone. He's zeroed, and that is not fun. And it's completely avoidable, right? Like you look at another guy like what? Like here you go, 2 million to 40 million, and then
Jeez.
zeroed. Like, can you
Jeez.
imagine?
I can't even imagine what that does to you mentally.
I would
I,
probably kill myself.
I don't know that I have the mental fortitude to be able to experience that kind of a loss. And then, so here's the thing, though, right? I know damn well I don't have the mental fortitude to experience that. So I just don't put myself in a position where I can ever
Never.
possibly experience that. It's that simple. You just don't, if the best way to not get liquidated is to just not put yourself in a position where you could potentially get liquidated. Like,
100%. Yeah, I mean, like it's like a guy like Alex Weiss, right? Alex Weiss did the same thing. Like he ran up. I mean, he lived in Thailand, so he didn't have the tax liability, but he zeroed, like $50 million plus. I was in a Discord with him back then when he ran it up huge, and he has those famous screenshots. I have it somewhere on my old computer. Um, Guys, stop telling me how taxes work. This guy owes the money on taxes because he made the money, okay, and you have to pay taxes on it. It didn't zero out if it's across a year, and also I don't know the tax rules in his country, but he said himself, I'm not making this up, this is exactly how it works for him. um, he's in Australia. That's how it works here where I live, and that's how it works in America as well. Regardless, I was in a chat with Alex when he has that famous screenshot where he had multiple days making 8 figures, and then he started going on tilt basically. And we were like, dude, take like 10 mil and like take it out. Like just take it out. You live in Thailand, you can live forever. And then if you want to fucking zero out the rest of your fucking money, like by all means, like fucking go for it. But at least kind of you secure yourself, and you didn't do it. I'm not saying that he won't make it back or whatever, but yeah, it's crazy, and yeah, never give yourself the risk to for the chance of ruin, right? So, um, people are arguing whether or not he owes the taxes, guys. You're missing the point completely. He had
I'm
forty
missing the
million
point.
dollars, and now he has none. So even if he didn't owe the taxes, he now has no millions of dollars.
Yeah,
Um,
so allow me to reinforce you. The way it works, if you lock in a certain amount of profit in a fiscal year and that year ends, you owe taxes from the year before. So if tax
Correct.
season is, say, in the US, it's April is tax season. If April comes around and you blew up your entire account from 2023, but you made $10 million in 2023, the IRS is going to ask you for $3 million in taxes April 2024. You're
Correct.
still going to have to owe that, but you have zero to your name because you blew it up in the meantime. So, yes, that is 100% how that works. And I'm willing to bet that that's probably what happened to that guy.
Yeah.
Um,
And even so, like I mean, round tripping that much money is just insane. Taxes are just a fucking small part of it. Um, Losing that kind of money is fucking absolutely absurd. But you never want to put yourself in the position where you can ruin yourself. But what's crazy is look, this is the Ethereum chart. There are people who are gonna lose money when the chart looks like this, right? I tell people this all the time. If I would have just held my Bitcoin entry and my Ethereum entry from back here when I bought, I would have outperformed all of the trading that I did. So I bought Bitcoin between like 3 and 6,000, and I bought a shitload of Ethereum at like 80 to $100 way back in like 2018, and some more during the COVID dump. That outperformed my trading massively, and it wasn't even close. And the reason people fuck themselves over, right, is they're losing they're missing the forest for the trees, right? The chart looks like this, but they're zoomed in looking at the chart like this, and they're eating shit on all of these little micro moves, and they're just chopping themselves to bits. You're way, way, way better off being set in spot and comfy, and then your mental game and the psychology of your trading is going to be way easier to manage when you're just trading with a portion of your portfolio. But yeah, now is not the time you want to lose money, because not only are you losing money, but the cost to get back in is higher every single day, it seems like. So if you lost one Bitcoin at the start of February, well, guess what? That one Bitcoin is worth $10,000 more today than it was when you lost it. So do everything in your power to hold on to your fucking shekels at this point. But again, I think this is all a very exciting time. Everyone's saying write off your losses. Against what? He doesn't have any gains to write off against.
Yeah.
Go
It's
for
not
it.
it's not gonna affect what you did last year. You can't write off losses that you experienced in 2024 to mitigate tax profits that you had in 2023. That's not how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, again, guys, this is all very exciting times. I personally think we are setting up for a giga alt season. So maybe we can kind of talk about that a little bit. Like if you look at something like, let's see, what's a good example? Look at some of these BTC charts. Now, I completely agree with you. I think the crazy altcoins, like I'm a proponent of new shiny coins over old shitty ones, 100%. But alt season is born when BTC charts look like this. And all it takes is one more BTC God candle through all-time high to make this do something like this. And we're going to see charts like this all over the place. And then you're going to see a lot of altcoins go absolutely gangbusters after the fact. So if you're worried about missing some of this rally, missing Ethereum, missing Bitcoin, things like that, there's going to be so many 5 to 10x's on altcoins in the next 3, 6, possibly 9 months. Relax. You can still make it. There's still money to be made. What you don't want to confuse is, feeling like you've underperformed up to this point as a need to then implement things like leverage, get yourself in a sticky situation. You want to have money right now. If you have money, if you have dry powder, if you're liquid and you can get into stuff, that's a good thing. Don't worry that being like, well, Bitcoin's going up and I still have stables. No problem. There's going to be lots of good buys. There's going to be lots of opportunities to grow that stack in the coming weeks and months. But now's the time to pay attention. It's time to lock in. Go comb through the charts, find the setups and mark out the levels, and realize that when these crashes happen, like Mercury said, it's an opportunity for you to now get on board and get involved for the next run up. So I think it's all very exciting stuff, man. Like I think people have been it's hard if they were here through the bear market to now, even now that we're back at all-time highs, they're still kind of bear brained. There's obviously some people on Twitter that have large followings. You look at a guy like Capo, who has inevitably led many sheep to the slaughter as we've just gone vertical with him expecting lower. But you can be bearish short term, sure. If you think Bitcoin's going to dip to 50K from here, let's say, or Ethereum's going to dip to 3K from here, you're like, a big correction's coming. It's like, okay, but where is it going after that? If you think it's going to dip to 50K and then go to 100, who cares about shorting a $10,000 move when the upside move is $40,000 to $50,000 higher? The asymmetry is clearly to the upside. So it's way better to be a bull. If you think the market is due for a pullback, if you think we're going to dump, that's an opportunity to buy lower. It's not an opportunity to short.
Yeah, it definitely comes with the environment too. And I will say, past few years, I've been a long biased only trader. So and I say this and people are like, what do you mean? When is it time to open shorts for you? I only open longs. That's it. The only time I'm hitting red button for me personally is when I'm closing out of those longs, selling out of my core spot positions, that kind of stuff. Focusing on one direction is phenomenally easier than trying to navigate both directions. And I think a lot of it is, realistically, a lot of people suck at trading. And they're just not willing to like acknowledge that. But you come into this industry and, the first thing you hear is 95% of traders lose. And every single person that has ever traded has thought to themselves, okay, well, I could be the 5%. It's like, okay, well, something's not right here because all 100% of us are thinking that we could be the 5%. So something is not right. So if you're struggling navigating both directions, maybe just take a step back and turn down the difficulty and just focus primarily on one direction. I know this sounds, pretty like annoying to hear in the middle of a bull market, but when we're experiencing all of 2022 and price go down negative 80%, I have a ledger account, I have an investment account that I have not touched, been just dollar cost averaging into since like 2017 when I joined the space. I haven't withdrawn anything, sold any profits from that account. From November 2021, where my net worth is at all-time highs, and then experiencing the drawdown in my ledger and just managing my trading account, my trading portfolio from a long biased only perspective. So literally, I kid you not, watching this market day in, day out, writing updates, doing streams, making content, making YouTube videos, posting on Twitter every single day, that, but averaging 2 to 3 trades a month for a whole year straight during negative 80% as I'm watching my ledger account draw down. By the time that Q1 2023 was over, my net worth was higher than what it was in November 2021. And that's the power that compounding. I know it sounds like the cringe gurus on TikTok. This is the power of compounding. Yeah, I get that, but it really is. It's powerful. You get to multiply your purchasing power consistently and continuously and over time, and you get to play the long game, and you get to just make the most out of these uptrends and really just hone in on one particular skill set. Things like assessing uptrends and knowing the difference between a pullback and a downtrend. When is it time to buy a dip and when is it not a dip anymore? It's a falling knife. Something as simple as that can set you apart and actually get you into that 5% of which you thought you were going to be when you initially started to trade in the first place. So, yeah, man, I don't short
Dude,
anymore. I have no business
most of the
shorting.
best traders I know are long only, and the richest guys I know are long only. I also you have with the ledger thing. I do the same thing, and you got to realize, right? Your value in USD might be fluctuating greatly, but your amount of tokens, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it is you have in cold storage, that's the number that you're trying to focus. If you believe the asset and the chart goes up and to the right over a long period of time, who cares what the USD value is on a day-to-day basis? You need to zoom out, think of it more macro. What is it on a month-to-month basis? And do I have more coins now than I did at the beginning? Because if you believe we're going to have another bull market, if you believe prices are going to go up in the future, who cares? You're just trying to stack sats.
Yeah, it's have a lot of it is having the clear discrepancy between your investment mindset and your investment portfolio and your trading mindset and your trading portfolio. You almost have to be like two entirely different people. And a lot of people are going to shoot themselves in the foot by over trading their investments and then trying to invest in their trades. Like that's just how it ends up being. People are going to be, caught holding bags by the time that the trends break down. But you initially were trying to buy, a 15-minute trend and suddenly it's down negative 50%, and now you're digging into Telegram channels and trying to figure out how good is the tech. And then you're going to have your investments and you're going to tell yourself mentally, okay, I'm going to hold this until after BTC breaks all-time highs. Maybe it goes to like some fib extensions, whatever, and then I'll start to scale out when Justin Bieber starts to flex his Bored Ape again. And then you're gonna end up, oh my god, this negative 5% wick. What, this? Oh my god, this Darth Maul candle. I need to capitulate and get out. So you got to have a very clear discrepancy, and the best way to do that is honestly just to physically separate the two. A ledger is so incredibly useful because it's something that physically you have to. There's steps involved. A lot of the like a lot of bad practices and bad habits in this industry are enabled by ease of access. So what I mean by that is if your investments are sitting on a Bybit account, because I know we're both sponsored by Bybit, if your investments are sitting on a Bybit account, it takes you all of 10 seconds to go and totally change the way that your 6 month outlook is, how you're positioned on the next 6 months. It takes you 10 seconds. You log in your Bybit from your hand, right? And it not even long at all. You totally shifted the way that you're invested. So having that like physical barrier where it requires time, you can't be as impulsive about it. That's a really solid and simple way to clearly define who you are and how you're approaching that market in that particular mindset, be it investor or trader. Still there? Did I lose you? I ramble for too long? Mic issue. Cut in, you cut out.
Hello, hello. Okay, I'm back.
Better now.
Um, no, couldn't agree more. I mean, my ledger's not even with me, right? Like I just have the address and I just send money to it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't touch it. I don't need to touch it. What's on there is staying on there for a very long time. No, man, I echo with everything you said. I think most people, and I say this all the time on Twitter and streams, time in the market is way better than timing the market. The majority of people um, who think that they're traders and think that they're in that 5, 10, 1% that can actually outperform the market, the likelihood of that being you is very small. And if you want to try and find out if it is you, do it with an amount of money that you're willing to lose. Because as someone who does trade actively, let me tell you, you're going to lose money for the first while you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So, yeah, couldn't agree more with kind of everything you said there. I think it's the patience that you have when the market is going down, to stick to your plan and stick to your thesis that makes it so much easier to capitalize on these types of uptrends. Because when the market is going ham like it is right now, every day you wake up, you feel like the market is higher. You feel like you've missed out on the new coin. You're long a coin. Someone else is long a coin that went up even more. When you're not well positioned and you're not comfortable and sure in your investment thesis, comfortable in your spot positions, that's when you get into that chasing mindset. And even though prices are going up, I know because I'm in group chats with friends, I have friends who lost money today. And all they did was long the coins that went up the most. And it's kind of like you scratch your head, you're like, how's that even possible? You long Doge, you long Pepe, you long Floki, and all these coins did today is go vertical. How did you lose money? It's like, well, because the coin was already up 50%. They're like, I need to long this thing. They long it. Okay, you long $1 million, let's say. It goes down 1%. You're now down 10 grand. You close. It starts going up again. You long it again. And like, this is like death by 1,000 cuts. And this is going to be one of the most common ways people lose money in a vicious uptrend like we're seeing right now, is they're longing these assets that have already gone up with too much size on too low of a time frame. And then they're closing as soon as it pukes even the tiniest bit. And then when the actual dip to buy comes, they're not buying that dip because they've already chopped themselves to bits. So lots of lessons here, guys. I think this has been a good chat on just kind of some high time frame macro thinking around, how to manage your exposure to this market and how exciting it is right now, and some, what we have to come. So let's get into some predictions here because that's what everyone likes. So let's just do Bitcoin and Ethereum. Where do you think Bitcoin goes, let's say, in the next 1 month, 6 months, 1 year? Like, where do you think the all-time high is? Where do you think we are, at the end of March?
Probably next month, if we're going based off of history, I would say mostly sideways with a hint of up. Next 6 months, I would think we smash straight through the all-time highs. I would just simply target fib extensions. So the next fib extension is the 1.618 from previous all-time high to cycle low. I think that gives you like 102,000. And then next for me would be 2.618. I'm not sure exactly what that fib is, but just going to like my fib extension approach, very quickly go back to BTC. If we go to fibs from 2017 high to 3K low, It gives you 1.618. So all of these, by the way, are take profit levels for me. I haven't made a video on my price discovery approach yet, but I'm planning on it soon. 1.618, that's a take profit level. So that doesn't mean that I'm thinking of this as resistance. I'm definitely not thinking about that. In price discovery, it quite literally means I don't know how high this goes. You don't know how high this goes. It could absolutely just continue going higher towards infinity. So I got to think logarithmically and stop thinking like, oh, we're up 100% in the past month. That's crazy. Because literally the entire reason as to why we're here is because things can go up 100% in a month and then go up another 100% the next month and then another 100%. So this is a take profit level just for the simple fact that I understand I cannot profit from this market unless I take profit. So I sell that region, I ask questions later. And then same thing with 2.618. I sell that region, I ask questions later. 3.618. I sell that region, I ask questions later. If I'm telling you this at the 1.618, you're calling me a pleb for selling too early and taking profit too early. I continue to hold that exact same core position. I take profit again, 2.618. You tell me the same thing. I'm a pleb. I sold too early. When I do that at 3.618 and we start breaking down and shifting trends, that's like our 4-hour 200s. By the time we're breaking down, oh, suddenly I'm a genius. I sold the top. So had we continued going up, I'm just going to continue. Okay, now 4.236, 6.85, 11.09. So now I'm deleting this fib draw. I'm going with the next one. So this is not totally accurate, but it's good enough. So 1.618, 101,000, that's going to be that partial take profit. I sell there, I ask questions later. Same thing, 2.618, that's going to be my next take profit. I am full on moon boy mentality. You cannot tell me that Bitcoin is not going to go higher and higher and higher and higher continuously until something breaks. Once something starts to break down, I can clearly see, even a 4-year-old knows, that's a downtrend now. That's not a dip like we've seen, been seeing before. It's not even a pullback. That's a full on high, low, lower high, lower low. That is a downtrend.
Yeah,
By the time,
we literally never broke daily structure until the Pico top.
not a
That's why I
single
tell
time.
people, like, how do you know when to sell? I was like, when the daily trend breaks, because it didn't. As much as we had big pullbacks and stuff, it never made a lower low on the daily until it was literally over.
Yeah. Yeah. So either we get to my fib extensions and I'm a complete genius selling, into price discovery, or things start to break down. And at this point, I'm still a genius because my core position is up so damn much that it doesn't even really matter. So, you know, either way, I'm in a position where I win. Like regardless of whatever market does, I win. So yeah, that's my take. Ethereum would be the same exact kind of thing. All of my philosophy for approaching price discovery would be exactly the same. Now I could see Ethereum rallying because as opposed to BTC, BTC's threatening breakout all-time highs. So in my opinion, this is what I call for BTC. It was 59K was that all-time high supply zone. Once we break out of that region, I don't really see much resistance above. You form resistances by moving horizontally, not vertically. So in my opinion, this is a resistance level. I can see the horizontal kind of tests in that region. Same thing with here. I can see the horizontal tests, but there's nothing really here for me. So as soon as Ethereum starts to cross this zone, I'm essentially going to start approaching with my price discovery mentality, be a full-on moon boy, start targeting fib extensions. So same exact kind of thing. Again, it's not exact, but it's good enough. 1.618, so 7.2K, 11.2, et cetera, et cetera. We keep on targeting whatever the next fib is. And currently for Ethereum, this is why I could see it rallying in the next month where, BTC might stall. And historically, that's what BTC does at those all-time highs. It kind of stalls for a couple of weeks, maybe, consolidates, whatever, gives a, negative 10, negative 20% pullback, whatever. And then it, finally does what everyone's anticipating, breaks out, rips, and then goes on and fulfills this whole cycle theory, whatever. I could see Ethereum rallying 22% in the next month as BTC stalls. That'd be perfectly fine. But same thing long term, just fib extensions continuously until trends break.
Couldn't agree more, bro. Um, I don't use fib extensions or anything like that. I generally am just once we get past all-time high, um, I'm following the daily trend quite closely. Like usually I'm looking at the daily chart, sometimes even the 3-day chart, and I'm like, as long as we're making higher highs and higher lows, I'm gonna stay in. But last cycle, for example, I started selling Bitcoin at 40K. And same as you, right? Like it went up to 50 and people were like, why do you fucking sell? It's going higher. And then I sold some more, and then it went to 60 and I sold some more. And then it went to 69 and people were like, oh, dude, you're an idiot. You sold at 40. And then, less than a month later, we were at 30. So all of a sudden I start to look pretty smart. And it's the same thing with
Yeah.
buying the bottom. Back in 2018, I started buying as soon as we broke 6K. I started buying because I was bearish from 20K. That's when I got popular on Twitter. I was like bearish. I was like, 6K is not the floor. Like, I think it breaks. We kept making lower highs, the bouncy ball meme. But as soon as we broke it, I started buying 5,500, 5K. And then everyone got bearish and then got down to 3K. And I'm just like, fuck it. Like, at this point, I'm all in. Any Bitcoin I buy here, I'm willing to go to zero because I'd rather buy near the bottom than having to buy at the bottom. And same thing with selling near the top. You don't need to sell the Pico top. You just kind of want to sell sort of near the top and catch the meat of the move, and you're going to do very well.
Yeah. Same kind of thing, except in 2018, I was getting my ass handed to me. I came in,
Your first
I bought
cycle,
the top.
you figure it
Yeah.
out, right? Second
Yeah.
cycle, you make a little money, and then hopefully the third cycle is the one you crush.
Yeah. That's that third cycle for me. So
Yeah.
I'm ready, man. I'm excited. Love where the space is headed, and I think there's lots and lots of opportunity ahead of us.
Buying the lows is way easier than selling the tops. I don't fucking think so, bro. Not many people want to buy Bitcoin at 15K, dude. A lot of people thought it was going to go even lower when it was at 15K. It's just it's the complete inverse mindset. When it's down, people think it's going to go lower, and when you're selling when
Yeah.
it's high, people just say it's going to go higher.
Crypto Twitter was having whole debates and arguments about whether or not there would be another altcoin season. Actually, I remember a thread that went around, and it was like which market is more brutal, 2019 or 2023? It's like what are you talking about? How is this brutal to you? What exactly is happening? Are we looking at the same chart? So people get lulled into that mindset and they just stick with it. Like, that is now the mind state that they live in. Everything sucks. Sure, we're up 100% from the lows, but look how far we're still down from an all-time high. This chart looks like shit when you only look at this. It's like, no, man, you gotta find that way of breaking your mentality and adapting to, whatever the market is doing. But yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing
whole
wrong
debates.
with being wrong. I think that's another thing that is very detrimental to people on Twitter. And I tell people that, especially people who are like trying to build a social media following. I'm like, dude, like I'm one of the few people on Twitter. Like I post when I get shit wrong all the time. A lot of people, their feeds, especially bigger accounts, they only post wins. All you see is P&Ls, and it seems like they've caught every single move. Anything that pumped, they were in, right? Price went up, they made money. It's like they're never wrong. And maybe they delete tweets, maybe they bury their wrong calls under, a bunch of new fucking tweets. But there's nothing wrong with getting shit wrong. It's actually completely normal. And if you're not getting shit wrong, I have some questions. It's more staying wrong that is the issue, right? Strong opinions, but loosely held. There's nothing wrong with thinking price is going to go up or down from here, but if you're proven wrong, you have to have no ego and be like, okay, I thought it was going to go down, it didn't, it's going up now. I can't let that being wrong prevent me from making money. That's, in my opinion, exactly what happened to Capo. Whether or not he actually trades is a completely other conversation. I mean, the engagement he gets on Twitter alone is enough to be making 10K a month. But I think there's this ego where it's like he was so stuck in his bias, he couldn't tell when the tides were changing. There's nothing wrong with being wrong, right? Short, get proven wrong, great, but don't let that prevent you from then saying, hey, now I think it's going to go higher, let me long. So that's that common saying on Twitter, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? It's way better to make money.
Yeah, I put out a tweet the other day, and it was like the irony is I use Pepe memes every single day on Twitter, and I missed the Pepe move. And I was like, I haven't bought, spot Pepe, and I can't tell you the last time I traded that coin. And people were like, what? How did you miss this move? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how are you shocked that influencers don't catch every single thing that could ever possibly move? And the way I think about it is somebody told me this, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. Grown men used to go to war, and now they're worried about how their crypto Twitter timelines perceive them. I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had this conversation off stream, but I was like, I used to have this mindset where I was like, people got to know that, like, I'm just like, all I do is trade and da 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 da. And it's like, you're here to make money. Don't screw people over, right? Don't scam, don't rug, but you're here to make money. And the sooner you worry about making money and not worrying about how other people are making money, how much, who's doing what, you're going to do way better. Your life's going to be better. You're going to have way more success. I used to go through my comments and I used to like respond to all of them. Like I would post something and like there would be one dude, like you said, Bitcoin lover 69. Like I got 50 comments being like, we love you, man. And then there's one guy who's like, you're wrong or idiot or whatever, right? Or he'll quote, find a tweet where I was wrong, and I used to argue with that person. You know what I mean? Like it's such a crazy mindset when it's like, dude, I don't give a shit about this person. Like they don't know who I am. I don't know who they are. But that's a very common trope within social media is we fucking hyper focus on what other people are doing. Like one of the most common things on Twitter to me is everyone is focused on how everyone else is making money. So if someone does something, oh look, they're working with a sponsor, they must be broke now, trading must not be going so well. It's like, bro, take that energy, point it inward, and get your own fucking money. Like how I make money, how someone else makes money does not make you any money. Whether you agree or disagree with what I do, how I do, it doesn't help you whatsoever. Like you're the one who has to press buttons on your end, make decisions. So I'm like, go get your bag however you can. Obviously don't take advantage of people, don't fuck people over, but like focus on your own pockets rather than watching the pockets of others. And you're going to see them grow a lot more quickly. I think we have this hyper fixation of, looking at other people, and it's the social media era in my opinion, and being like, well, it should be me, not them. I should have that. They did this, they did that. Yeah, man. Well, hey, this was a lot of fun. So you heard it here, guys. 20% Ethereum candle this month, or you all get to go into his comments and flame him for being wrong on stream. We'll have the video evidence. But this was fun, man. We should definitely do this again. I know this wasn't like a chart-heavy stream, guys, like I normally do. But I think there's a lot of really good bits of alpha here, just in terms of mindset, how to manage emotions during the bull, looking at things from a macro perspective, profit taking, ton of stuff here. A lot of warnings against using things like leverage. So if you like these kind of videos, you want me to bring on more guests or other guests again in the future, let me know. But otherwise, yeah, Mercury, thanks for coming on, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. Appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Of course, bro. And if you guys want to follow him, I will leave his Twitter. It's just at Trader Mercury, right?
Yeah.
I'll add it to the description of this video. And if you're trying to fucking run it up, just be patient, guys. It's the weekend. Go touch some grass, reassess. Monday's a new week. It's gonna be a whole new week of opportunities. Don't stress out if you missed fucking a 50% Pepe candle. There'll be many more in the future. All right, guys. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Talk to y'all soon.